Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute roller coaster that is the story of Elon Musk. But you know what? We're not starting at the beginning. We're jumping straight into the exact moment his biggest dreams almost went up in smoke. Literally. Imagine watching billions just vanish, your life's work teetering on the edge of total bankruptcy, and everyone, everyone telling you to just pack it in and quit.
All right, let's set the scene. It's 2008, and Elon Musk is facing arguably the absolute hardest moment of his entire life. This wasn't just a minor speed bump. He was watching his massive fortune actively disintegrate right in front of him. The pressure must have been unimaginable. He's fighting a massive war on multiple fronts. Tesla, struggling to even get cars off the production line, and over at his other company, SpaceX, the rockets were quite literally failing and exploding. Every single failure incinerated millions of dollars. His fortune was just vanishing. People looked at his ambitions and flat out called his ideas impossible. But instead of throwing in the towel, this looming collapse forced him into taking the biggest risk of his life.
So how on earth did he survive this? Well, to figure that out, here's how we're going to break down his journey in this explainer. We'll start right there on the brink of collapse, dig into his origins, hit his first big wins, look at the moment he risked it all, and wrap up with some crucial lessons in impossible innovation.
Starting off with Section 1, on the brink of collapse.
Moving right along into Section 2, origins of an innovator.
Let's wind the clock back a bit. Born in 1971 in Pretoria, South Africa, he was just wired differently from the start. While most kids are out playing, he was absolutely obsessed with computers and science. By the time he was 10, he'd completely taught himself how to code. And at just 12 years old, he actually created and sold a simple video game called Blastar. That perfectly highlights his core drive, right? From day one, he didn't just want to consume technology like the rest of us, he actively wanted to create it. He eventually makes his way to Canada, and later the US, diving deep into physics and economics. Why those two? Because he firmly believed that combining hard science with sharp business sense was the master key to solving major global problems. He had zero interest in a safe, standard career path. He wanted to build the future, and he knew he needed a deep grasp of both the physical universe and the economic machine to actually pull it off.
Which brings us to Section 3, the first big wins.
Here's where that unique mindset really pays off. It's the wild west of the early internet. In 1995, he and his brother launch a Zip2, basically online city guides for newspapers, out of a tiny basic office. Fast forward to 1999, it's a massive hit, and he sells it for his first major financial windfall. But he doesn't just go sit on a beach. He immediately leverages that win to launch X.com, an online financial company that later morphed into PayPal. Remember, back then, people were terrified of trusting the internet with their money, but he firmly believed digital payments were the future. And, well, he nailed it. When PayPal was acquired, he finally had the massive resources he needed to chase his craziest dreams.
So he's conquered the digital world, right? Web software, online payments, check. But then he takes all those resources and makes a mind-boggling pivot. He walks away from digital software and dives headfirst into incredibly complex, heavy physical engineering. We're talking space exploration and electric vehicles.
And that bold leap leads us right into Section 4, risking it all.
Picture this. It's 2002, and he founds SpaceX. His goal? To radically slash the cost of space travel and actually put humans on Mars. Naturally, a lot of people, including industry experts, thought he was completely out of his mind. And as if that wasn't enough, he's simultaneously trying to force electric vehicles into the mainstream with Tesla, right at a time when basically everyone agreed electric cars could never ever compete with traditional gas guzzlers.
Let's be real, rockets and cars are arguably the most notoriously difficult, capital-intensive industries on the planet. And by 2008, the walls were closing in fast on both fronts. At SpaceX, 3 massive launch failures, just millions of dollars vaporized in every explosion, and investors were rapidly losing confidence. At Tesla, severe production bottlenecks, immense financial strain, and relentless criticism from the legacy auto industry. His cash reserves were drying up insanely fast.
So, staring down the barrel of total catastrophic failure across the board, he has to make an agonizing choice. The question was simple but terrifying. Do you fold? Do you save whatever pennies you have left and walk away? Or do you take the absolute last of your money and bet it on one final, desperate attempt?
Well, he bet it all. He scraped together his remaining funds for a fourth SpaceX launch, and it worked. That single successful flight changed everything. It pulled SpaceX back from the brink of bankruptcy. It proved to the world and to NASA that private companies could actually compete in space exploration. And most importantly, it kept his momentum going so he could keep Tesla alive. Over time, Tesla overcame its struggles, became a global titan, and basically forced the entire auto industry to pivot heavily into electric tech.
When you zoom out, you see he uses this distinct three-step survival formula for literally everything he touches. Find a huge problem, dream up a wildly bold solution, and then take massive action. He's applied this exact same framework to all his other ambitious projects too, whether that's artificial intelligence, brain-computer interfaces with Neuralink, or totally reinventing the future of transportation.
All right, let's wrap this up with Section 5, Lessons in Impossible Innovation.
So we've covered the timeline, the crises, and the massive wins. But what can we actually take away from this explainer for our own lives? His journey offers a seriously clear playbook. Number 1, think long-term. Remember, the most brilliant ideas always sound completely impossible at the very beginning. 2, realize that failure is literally a mandatory part of innovation. SpaceX had to fail 3 times before it worked. Tesla struggled brutally before it grew. 3, take calculated risks. Big achievements always require courage. And 4, learning never stops. Even as a billionaire CEO, he is constantly studying science, engineering, and business to keep improving.
Ultimately, this isn't just a story about getting wealthy or building massive companies. It's fundamentally a masterclass in imagination, sheer stubborn persistence, and refusing to accept what society labels as impossible. From a kid writing code in South Africa to completely upending global industries, he built his journey one massive risk at a time. So the real question this explainer leaves us with isn't whether a wild new idea is impossible. The real question is, who is brave enough to try? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I hope it sparks some seriously bold ideas of your own.